There we go. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Today is Friday, September 10th, 2021. And today is a good day. Today is an awesome day. Today is an amazing day. Even though I'm getting phone calls from the school talking about my baby acting out. Not my baby no more, my 6-year-old who ended up really essentially skipping kindergarten because of the pandemic. I mean, of course, he went to online school and we did that whole shebang, bang, bang. But, yeah, that was not, that was unexpected. And it's crazy because, you know, before I got pregnant with him, it was always my goal to homeschool or do some type of alternative schooling for him. But, you know, we're not there yet. We're definitely close, but we're not there yet. And I don't know if homeschooling is for him, but, the teacher called me and basically is saying that he's very restless. He's very active. He is being very rebellious. You know, not listening to what she's saying. He would get up and walk away from the table or get up and walk away from group whenever they're doing something. He's disturbing the classroom and things like that. You know, she called me again the other day and was like, they have a thing to where they give out prizes on Friday, and it's only 3 people in a class can get it, and it's really a class of 24, so that's really an issue to me right there, just having a large classroom size. But it's a class of 24 and only 3 people can win. So Lennox was not one of the kids who won this past Friday. And so, you know what this boy did? He went to the bucket. I don't know where the bucket was. I guess in the back of the classroom. He went to the bucket and pulled out his own prizes because he was upset that he didn't win. Hothead. He's a hothead for real. I would never. That's just me, you know, but that's why we're looking at his chart, because I am not him and he is not me. He is his own person. And he has his own personality, and he has his own strengths and weaknesses, and that's what we're here to look at today. Because I want to show you guys how you can actually help your children by looking at their natal chart. Just studying their natal chart and just studying who they are essentially internally, so that it can help give you a better understanding of what you need to look out for. What adjustments need to be made, if any, and how you can respond versus reacting to your child's behavior. I wish I would have had astrology when my oldest was acting out at school. Right now, he's 12, so he's good. But now my 6-year-old is acting out at school, so now I'm just like, okay, what's an approach I can use, or what's something I can do to, you know, help him be better? Because, you know, I don't think traditional school is for him, honestly, but I just wanted to look at his chart just to, you know, build off of that and make sure. So right now we're looking at my second son's chart. This is his natal chart. So he has a Scorpio Ascendant. That's what the AC means right here. That is basically your ascendant sign is your personality traits that you portray to the world. Is how everybody else sees you. So, you know, it's cool if you have a sun sign. Everybody has a sun sign. Everybody has an ascendant. Everybody has a moon sign, you know what I'm saying? But when someone says, hey, what sign are you? They're generally talking about your sun sign right here. But honestly, your ascendant has a lot to do with how people see you. So his sun sign is in Aquarius, but his ascendant is in Scorpio. And so this is another reason why I'm glad that I pay attention to astrology, because this boy asks questions that are definitely a Scorpio asks, and I'm a Scorpio sun, so I'm definitely here for it. But to a person with the untrained eye, or a person who's not so much aware of the energies that certain people bring to the table, it can kind of be daunting or a little scary sometimes. So this boy asks a lot of questions about life and death. He asks a lot of questions about, reincarnation, the skies, astrology. He asks questions about astrology. This boy naturally loves to meditate, naturally loves to be outside, naturally is, he's very spiritual. And I did not expect that from him. I kind of expected that from my 3-year-old. But I'm here for it. I'm definitely not knocking it. But we're not here to talk about that today. We're here to talk about his behavior in school. Okay. So just upon looking at his chart, what do we see? Can anybody identify this big ass element in his chart? Anybody? When I first look at his chart, I see this big ass triangle right here. So you see this, here we go. Yeah, that's a little easier. So you have this big triangle. That is the first thing I see. And in the astrology world, this is called a Grand Trine. Now, Grand Trine is basically where you have extremely active and restless, where you just naturally pick up on energies. So a Grand Trine makes you naturally inclined to use those energies, that the planets are in. So it's really like a 120-degree angle from 3 planets. So you see his Saturn, his moon, and his Uranus are all in fire signs. So that means, because he has a grand fire trine. So what that means is he naturally already has a lot of fire energy, even though his sun sign is an Aquarius, and he's kind of, Aquarius are kind of cool and, kind of like eccentric. He's very fiery. My Lennox is a hothead. And to the untrained eye, you would be like, where is he getting all this energy from? Well, here it is. He has Saturn in the first house of Sagittarius. And what does that mean right there? Saturn, well, let's get into that in a minute. Let's just name all his fire planets. He has Saturn in the first house of Sagittarius. He has Uranus in the 5th house of Aries. And your 5th house represents your creativity, your play, your passion. Uranus is in a fire sign. And then the biggest one right here is his moon is in Leo. Oh my God. His moon and his Jupiter are in Leo. If this boy don't get the most energy, this is my child that runs around my house. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the child that runs around my house in circles because he just is bored, and I'm here for it. I love it. We have the space. Go ahead, run around, do your thing. That's why I put him in track, so that he can expend some of that energy, right? It's expending energy, but only twice. Only twice, 2 to 3 times a week. So it's cool. We're getting somewhere. It's okay. I know he is going to be, I can already tell he is going to be a natural born athlete. Just based off this Grand Fire Trine. Whatever he chooses to do, he's going to have a lot of energy to put forth and achieve his goals. And then he got a mama like me. So that's definitely, he's already set up for success right here. But that's another conversation for another day. Right now, we're talking about his behavior in school. Yes? Okay. So, again, the Grand Trine, if you have any Grand Trine in your chart, it makes you naturally inclined to use that energy. But by you being aware of it, you can enhance it and stand out in certain areas of your life. So, for example, Lennox has this Grand Fire Trine, right? Grand Fire Trine people are extremely active and restless people. They are naturally attracted to challenges and changes and face them without fear. They have a natural air of confidence about them. And this is true. This boy is really I can see him being into extreme sports. He has a hoverboard. And he loves to do tricks on his hoverboard. He loves to do tricks on his bike. He loves like anything exciting, fast. You know, he is a boy, a boy. You know, he's really out here. So that definitely explains him to a T. But in relation to his behavior at school, this is also why maybe traditional school may not be for him, because you know how like people, in school, the teachers, you're supposed to sit down and listen to the teacher lecture. Now I haven't been in a classroom setting in a while, but usually school, like traditional school, is not conducive for a lot of our children. And that's why you have to look to the natal chart to see, hey, what would be the best learning style for them? And so getting, that report from my child's school and looking at his natal chart is really honestly looking like he might need to be in a Montessori school, or as his dad suggested, it's like a wilderness school, to where they are outside pretty much the whole day, regardless of the weather. Now, I don't know if I like that or not. I don't know if I'm feeling that. But I'm definitely feeling some type of alternative education model looking at this boy's chart, because he is not the one to sit still all day, every day, 5 days a week. I don't even want to do that. So how can I expect my child? It's a different area. How can I expect my child to do that? And I'm looking at his chart and just knowing who he is and the type of person he is and how he learns best. Is that really the best thing for him? This moon in Leo right here, this causes a lot of problems in our household, because he and my older son both have their moons in Leos, and they bump heads a lot. So when you have when your moon is in Leo, let me see what I wrote down about that. Your moon is in Leo. Yeah, you're already passionate. You already know Leos are passionate. Leos are hot-headed for the most part. Leos are, they like to have fun. They like to be creative. And they are very dominant and royal in that fact. So when you have two moon and Leo boys in the same household, it can cause some problems. Let's just say that. So I think that's, this is something that we deal with at home, but also in school. It may cause some problems because of being such a large class size. So then when we go down to, okay, let's touch right here on his Saturn and Sagittarius. So the Saturn, first of all, Saturn in Sagittarius is a conundrum in itself. And let me tell you why. Saturn represents restrictions. Saturn represents limitations. Saturn represents being responsible. Saturn represents authority. And it's in his first house of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius represents the exact opposite of what Saturn represents. Sagittarius likes to be free. Sagittarius does not like rules. Sagittarius likes to come and go as they please. That's why Lennox is getting up from group and going and doing his own thing, because he's not feeling the group atmosphere. He's not feeling the restrictions. He's not feeling that. But being 6, you can't always get up and do what you want. You have to conform to a certain degree, correct? So that's something that definitely needs to be molded within his daily life. That's one of the reasons why I'm thinking like maybe a traditional school setting is not for him. So that's one of his major planets in that Grand Fire Trine. So let's move on to the next one, Uranus in Aries. Uranus in itself, first of all, it's funny because it's like the energies are amplified to a certain extent, and it's like, okay, what am I gonna do with this boy? So with Uranus and Aries in his 5th house, we already know Aries are impulsive. They think before they do. They just go out and do it. And Uranus and Aries are both rebellious. They are courageous, but they also desire freedom. They need freedom to move. They need freedom to play. They need freedom to create. They need freedom to, be themselves. How they deem it necessary to be themselves. Just because you think it's okay for them to express themselves in this way may not sit right for them, so that's another reason why I'm leaning towards maybe he needs an alternative instructional model, because this ain't it. So these 3 planets right here in his chart, this Grand Fire Trine, is really they're really amplified. And it's really like to the point now where it's like, okay, is where he's at right now, is that really the best thing for him? So also when we're talking about your kids and reading their natal charts, you also definitely want to look and see where their Mercury is, because Mercury is the planet of communication, and Mercury represents how you speak to them and how they respond to how people speak to them and how they speak to other people, so this is what I really love about astrology, is how, and I might do a class on this, is how your chart is similar to your parents' chart or your kids' chart. So just pointing out some similarities that me and Lennox both have in our charts. One, as I said before, I'm a Scorpio sun. He's a Scorpio Ascendant, so I really resonate with him on that level. 2, we both have our sun and Mercury in our 3rd house. Now, granted, his Mercury is retrograde, but still, nonetheless, it's in our 3rd house. And when you have Mercury in your 3rd house, you're really close to your siblings. You talk a lot to your siblings and to your neighbors. And things like that. You're really close. Now, with Mercury retrograde, I believe there's some type of, not speech impediment, but there's something there. I can't remember. Let me see. Mercury retrograde in a natal chart. Let's see. I've clicked on this one before, so maybe this is what I'm looking for. Because there's something about having Mercury retrograde, being born during Mercury retrograde, and I can't remember what it is. Okay, here it is. When Mercury is retrograde at birth, the thinking processes are generally more acute and the sense of humor rather quirky. People with Mercury retrograde take in information differently than those with Mercury direct in their natal charts. Some people with this position struggle with doubts about their perceptions of their ability to learn, and there can be a lot of thinking, double checking, and reviewing of thoughts and ideas before communicating them. Now, this is true for my son. He definitely, I feel like he feels inferior to his brother, which is, of course, he's 6 years older, about his learning ability. Now, granted, Lennox is very intelligent, but he says a lot of and does a lot of things that are kind of off kilter, so that shows up as that Mercury retrograde right here in his chart. So that's very interesting. So whenever you're reading your chart for your children, definitely pay attention to their Mercury. And if anything is transiting on and near where I'm just now looking at the transits, and Saturn is retrograding over his natal Mercury. Wow. Okay. So I'm just now seeing that. That's interesting. And Jupiter is retrograding, in his 3rd house of learning and communication. Interesting. Okay, that kind of makes sense now. That kind of makes sense of why he's acting out. It's just the energies that are going on, and he needs a more direct outlet. Okay, that makes sense. Let me look at his other transits. His Sun is going through his 10th. Mars is going through his 10th. Mercury is going through his 11th. He is starting to gain more friends, so that's what's up. Venus is moving into his 12th. The moon is in his 12th. Pluto, that when you're talking about kids and Pluto, I mean, yeah, that has a big deal, but they're kids. So I wouldn't even really introduce those energies into reading their chart initially, unless you're just trying to dive deep, unless your child is just like having nightmares or going through some deep things, then you will probably want to look deeper into their charts. But just for, normal, everyday mundane things, look at their Mercury, look at that moon, look and see if you see any trines, any grand trines in here, and look at their transits and see what's going on. I know in my son's chart, there is actually I actually seen where it said that his father was going to die at an early age. And I really want to look that up and see, where I saw that. Matter of fact, let me look at his chart now and see if I can decipher that. I know it was somewhere down here. I want to say it was Mars in the 4th. Or maybe it was, no. Because the 4th house represents the home, the family, the mother. And then your 10th house represents the father, your success in your career, and relating to other people. So I actually seen something at one point in time that, predicted that his father was going to die. And his father did die when he was 6, had just turned 6. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But look how the similarities of my son's chart versus my second son's chart. But anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted to just relay. So conclusion, my son is acting up in school. I looked at his chart. What's the solution? Because I'm a very solution-oriented person. What's the solution to him acting up in school? So what I'm going to try first, because apparently, according to his chart, he's naturally inclined to, utilize his energy effectively. He loves to do yoga with me. He loves to meditate with me. So I'm going to, in the mornings before I put him on the bus, I'm going to make sure we set aside 5 minutes for deep breathing exercises where he's actually breathing in, breathing out, and getting his mental together, so that when he actually does make it to school, he'll be a little bit more relaxed and more open to, go with the flow of the day. So that's what we're going to do. In order to expend this energy right here from this Grand Trine, I have him in track. But maybe that's not enough. So I'm thinking maybe me and him need to go out and take walks after school, just to get him, just somewhere to direct that energy. Because if you have this placement, if your kids have a trine, that energy got to go somewhere. And right now it's not going nowhere. So how he's expending it? By acting out in school. So the solution is to find different ways of expending that extra energy so that we can have more desirable behavior. So yeah, this was a good read. If you want your chart read, if you want me to read your kid's chart, go ahead and book a session. You can definitely go to my website, yogisdivine.com, and check that out. Or if you just want to, talk and, have a session and see what's going on with your life and what's coming up in the next year. Oh, I can't wait to do that solar return chart. See how that 2022 gonna come out for me. Oh my goodness. I'm kind of want to look at it now. But yeah, other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. I love you. Ashe, ashe, ashe.